enforcement community, as well as those of you who are here in support of the folks who keep us safe in our communities. It's great to have all of you here. Next up, we'd like to bring to the stage a couple of fellows who are literally the heart and soul of this film, and two gentlemen for whom we simply wouldn't have this kind of a gathering without. First and foremost, Bill Erforth is here. He is the producer of tonight's film, and we'd like to bring Bill out and say hello. Bill's a little shy. We'll coax a little bit. He's more comfortable behind the camera. In addition, we have a fellow with us tonight who I'm sure all of you are very aware of, but nevertheless, I think it's an important thing to give him a proper introduction. There's Bill. Our keynote guest this evening has given many, many years to the support of law enforcement, and you may have seen him once or twice on a small screen or a large screen. We had a little bit of conversation before we came out here, and I asked Vincent if he'd prefer if I gave the short introduction or the longer, more full introduction. And he said, I think the longer introduction would be better. I'm so sorry, I couldn't help it. That's not true at all. But just to give a quick overview, Vincent D'Onofrio, as we all know, a very accomplished actor, over 70 films on his resume, including Jacket. Men in Black, Adventures in Babysitting, JFK, Brooklyn's Finest, and I understand that if any of you are, like myself, a huge fan of Jurassic Park, there may be a little announcement that has something to do with Vincent's participation in a new Jurassic Park film. I'm very excited about that. I'm sure Of course, one of the things that we know Vincent from on the small screen is Detective Robert Gorham from Law and Order. And now, in all sincerity, the really most important and salient part of Vincent's resume, as far as tonight goes, Vincent has been nominated for many awards, including Emmys from John Lang, Homicide: Life on the Street. He's our narrator for tonight's film, Heroes Behind the Badge, and most importantly of all, and I know why he's here with all of us tonight, the national spokesman for the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund, and he's been involved in fundraising for law enforcement for many years. Please welcome Vincent.
So I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I think he missed about 63 films that I was in, but that's okay. And support last year as well. We're going to continue to support law enforcement for as long as they'll let us. And so that's all I have to say. Let's get on with this thing.
Wait, Adventures in Babysitting? I love that movie. Thor! You're who? Thor! Oh!
Yep.
Go home and watch that. I love that movie. Okay, I get to introduce some very special guests in our audience tonight. And there's actually something special happening this year too. If you were here last year, we had our honored guests just stand in the audience. This time, and we're going to make you move a little bit. We're going to have you come up here, and here's why. This is really neat. This is one of the only events that Vincent attends, and so this is a big deal. They're actually going to be taking pictures for Police magazine, so this event will end up in that magazine, and also for the memorial. So we'd like you to come up when I call your name, if you could please come up. And so you get a picture with Vincent, and then of course they could take pictures of this event to show nationally, which I think is so neat. the first people that I'd like to introduce, and I think she's backstage behind me right now. Sergeant Corey Ride's wife, Nan Ride, is here. Nan, will you come?
And so I ask that you go onto the website, the government website, to vote for our petition. We still need 90,000 signatures, so anybody that you know, get it out there for us, please. All it is to do is just to create that awareness so that everybody knows that our police officers need to have increased protection. And the other thing is, I just want you guys to love your family. Husbands, don't leave your house without letting your wives know how much you love them, and vice versa, ladies. Hang on to your families because you're not promised one more minute.
To learn more about what Nan's talking about this petition and how you go about signing up, you need to ask anybody, any one of us, anybody you need to, I can come up to me and ask me, and we'll tell you how to go through it and sign on. It's, we're trying to get all the law enforcement vehicles to have bulletproof windshields. Mm-hmm. It's silly that they don't. It's a big task that we're trying to achieve. I don't think this woman is going to stop until she accomplishes it. So please help us do that.
First film did that in many ways. The first film changed a lot of attitudes, changed some lives. But more importantly, what really, really inspired doing this second film is as we traveled around the country and did screenings in over 100 cities in America, I had 4 different police officers from different parts of the country come up to me and said, you know, last week I was sitting home in my house, I had ordered the movie, was sitting home, I watched the movie, and it changed my life. He says, as a matter of fact, all 4 of these people, by the way, had all come up to me and said, if it wasn't for watching this movie, I'd be dead today. And so I'll just share this one story. So the guy sitting in his living room, he's watching the movie. He was so moved and inspired by the film that he said, you know what, starting tomorrow, I'm going to start wearing my bulletproof vest. He told me, he said, I haven't worn it in years. The following week, he was shot in the chest, and that vest saved his life. And he said, you know, the movie inspired me to do that. So we're happy to know that. If it's just to say that it saved one life makes it all worthwhile, and we're really excited to continue to do this. And I'm really excited to pass the mic on to Vincent.
So, yeah, I don't want to take any more time. I just want to thank you all again for coming. And this is a very important film, and you'll know why when it's over. You'll feel it in your heart. So thank you. These women are amazing, amazing people. And all the people involved in law enforcement that just stood up a few minutes ago, I thank you for your service, for how brave you are, for the kind of people you were born to be. I'm not that person. I'm not somebody that runs in the door when it doesn't know what's on the other side. It takes a special kind of person to do that. Male, female, young, old, it doesn't matter. In my business, there's a lot of nonsense. You know, a lot of whining goes on. Whine about this, whine about that. One of the things that has always harassed me about law enforcement, they never whine. They might whine to their wives or their husbands. They never whine in public. They never ask for help. And I think as citizens, knowing what they do every day, we should volunteer our help because they're not going to ask for it. After catastrophe, after catastrophe, after story, we see these people showing up, doing things that they make movies about. And I think as citizens, we have to learn to appreciate that more and show our appreciation. Because it's real. It's not left propaganda or right propaganda. It's not politics. It's not Hollywood. It's not what a newspaper writes or a media show presents. It's real. It's real people putting their lives on the line for us. And a guy like Brody, I mean, I could do 70 more films, and I would never be the movie star that you are. And I have to tell you, you have a natural instinct. Like when you took that mic and you talked into it like you weren't narrating, but you just naturally talked into it like you were making a call. I was like, shit, that guy's a good actor. Anyway, thank you all for coming tonight.
I wanted to say one more thing, just for the citizens that are here. You know, this is an eye-opener. This is what goes on. We picked a lot of these places in the United States to show that this can happen anywhere. I mean, we start off at Mount Rainier, Washington, and then we go to Moab, Utah, some of the most pristine and beautiful places in the United States, and mayhem visited those places. There are no jurisdictional boundaries for criminals. It can happen in small town America and big cities. For the law enforcement that are here, how many times do you hear about somebody that gets a non or less than lethal injury and dies because they go into shock? Always remember Brody's story of survival and how he fought back and lived. Think about Johnny Bell from Texas, 65 years old, and he stitched him up the middle and took him out. And one last thing about wearing your vest. That story in Nassau County, New York is tragic. Artie Lopez was beloved by everyone. He was shot once in the chest with a 9mm handgun, which any vest would have saved his life. And that's probably pretty likely with his training he would have been able to return fire and kill his assailant. Wear your vest.
Wait, I have a couple of things. So, the police wives of Utah are selling tickets. The wives are doing a benefit drawing out there in the hallway out there for a ping pong table, football table, Greg Olson painting, and more. He says the drawing will be in the VIP Commons area. All right, and you got to be present to win. Okay, I'm going to be signing more pictures and doing my thingy and going over them. And there's cash boxes at the exits. And that cash helps. It goes directly to funds. It goes to the Pleasant Grove Police Department so they can get their radios that they need. I mean, they were asking for these radios last year. They got some of them. Does there need to be a louder voice to get your guys radios? So put $1 or $2 in the box and take a picture with me. It costs a little bit of money to do that, but it buys radios for police officers so they can call for backup. There's one thing you left out. Wear your vest and wear your seatbelts. Officers.
There are discs available for the first film and the second film afterwards, Blu-rays and DVDs, and 50% of the proceeds, as I mentioned before, goes back from this film to support the memorial. And we are done talking. It's all yours.
I'm just going to take another hour or two, you guys. Okay? No, I'm just kidding. You know, sitting back here, I watched somebody that I'm a friend with. Officer Johnny Bell from Fort Worth, Texas is where I'm from. And I've lived in this great state for over 20 years. But at one point, I had a homecoming back to Fort Worth, Texas, and guess who was the lead officer? That gentleman right there. So happy to see that he's okay. I had no idea. So thank you for that. Something happened tonight at Pleasant Grove Auditorium right here. My heart is forever changed because of you. And I just want to, I feel this is a safe place. And the reason why I'm going to share this quick, tiny story with you is when you work in media, they teach you no emotion. You cannot have emotion when you're on camera. You are there to present the news, you are to present the story to the community, and you cannot show emotion. And I will just tell you, from my point of view, when breaking news comes in, like our community has been attacked over the last several months, whether you're sitting behind that news desk, you're sitting in front of the camera, or you're working back on a computer getting the stories ready so that our community will know what is going on, there is a reverence, and there is a respect, and there is a somber attitude because of you folks, you men and women and you families that protect our community. And I want you to know, coming from a news station, that it is something that we do not take lightly. Even though we are not allowed to show that kind of emotion on camera, we leave, we get in our cars, we drive home, and we cry. And to see the families that were honored tonight, and to see those like Brody that are sitting here in our audience, thank you, Jesus. I'm from the South, and I can say that.
Amen.
For you. You are big time, and you take your time, and you care about so many people, and thank you, Vincent. Thank you for coming in year after year, and you do all that you can do, and if I'm going to quote Oprah, I'm just going to do it. And I don't even know how she said it, but it goes something like this. When you are blessed with a talent like you have, it is your obligation, this is her, not me saying that, but I kind of agree. It is your obligation to give back, and you do tenfold. Thank you so much.
Amen.
We can help, and we can do all that we can with giving and giving that's going on in these halls and these rooms out there. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here, to be a part of your life, to give our thanks, whether we had a chance to say it or we just sit in the audience and we cry. Thank you for letting us be a part of this fabulous night. Thank you for the beautiful documentary. I pray and I hope that so many people can see it and that they will feel that change in their heart that happened right here at Pleasant Grove Auditorium in Utah. Thank you guys so much.